Welcome to the Racing Nuggets podcast. I'm PJ Noodleman, joined by my co-host, Dan Plan of the Midwest Racing Connection. Hey, Dan.
Hello.
We have with us this week, Jake Nottestad, Jacob, as a lot of you know him as. Welcome to the show, Jake.
Hi, thanks for having me.
We are thrilled to have you on here. You have been a lot of talk about people have been having a lot to say about you because you've had some really great runs and you aren't necessarily running the standard super late model stuff, but yet you're kind of holding your own up there with those guys. Case in point, Slinger. You had a pretty solid showing at the Slinger Nationals. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. We've definitely taken a liking to this whole super late business, and we switched our pro late car over a couple of years ago. We started off at the Tundra race in Jefferson and won that one. So we decided last year we were going to run the whole super late model deal at Slinger along with a few other ones. And yeah, we've had a really good success without spending a whole bunch of money on shocks and springs and engines and all kinds of stuff like that. So definitely makes it feel that much better when you beat some of those guys like that.
Well, and in a way, you're probably developing racecraft a little bit better because you have to kind of work with that conventional setup too, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the guys you race with super lates are obviously a lot more competitive, and they got their stuff figured out very well. So we got to be on top of it to be able to compete with that, and it makes it tough but rewarding for sure.
And who's helping you out right now? Who's on your crew? Who are the masterminds helping you put things together?
My dad, for sure, foremost, wouldn't do a whole lot without him. He's really smart when it comes to geometry and setup and stuff like that. And then my uncles, Robert and Don, will help out. We got Doug Johnson back in the crew this year. He actually helped my dad back in 03 when he raced at Jefferson in his limited late model. And then, yeah, a couple other guys. My grandpa Ronnie will come to the pits occasionally, Jeff Rockney and Travis Fry, and also my spotter, Brent.
Excellent. So do you have plans to eventually get maybe some sponsorship and things to kind of up your game, if you will, to become even more competitive with maybe some extra things that you need?
Yeah, that'd be awesome for sure. We'd like to get a different type of engine. The 5.3 has been a very good engine for us since we got it in 18 running limited lates and with the super as well. But you know, having a Southern Parts or Ace style motor would probably go a long way, especially with the dry sump. And then, yeah, maybe some start working on some bump stops and stuff like that. But we've been so darn fast that it's tough to want to change a whole lot too, you know.
I hear you on that. So when it comes to getting sponsorships, are you the one that's out there doing that, or who helps you with that?
My dad does a whole lot of it, and yeah, I'll go along and do that as well. So yeah, we work together on that, and it's working out pretty well.
Awesome. What is your favorite track that you run at?
That's tough. I really like Rockford. We went down there with the super late model last year and won one of them, and finished a close second to Nason in the other one. So really taking a liking to that track. It's too bad to see it go. So we're gonna have to get down there again before the end of the year. But other than that, Slinger is really fun, and I'm pretty good at Jefferson, so I like that too.
It is nice that you're able to run Rockford before they close their doors on the final lap. That'll be something that you can put in your own history book, if you will, that you raced there. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. We wanted to get an eagle down there, so I'm glad I finally got one at the end of last year. They got the best trophies down there, I think, too.
Sweet. How about tracks that you have not raced at that you have a desire to get to?
Yeah, Golden Sands is up there. We want to try to make it down there or up there toward the end of the year for the Tundra race. I think we probably would run pretty good there. It's kind of a slinger type track with low grip. So kind of want to run that track and then maybe get down to Grundy once or twice. That would be cool as well. So those two for sure. And then maybe like a Winchester or down south Anderson or Winchester would be some super neat tracks as well to go try out.
And is that something that you can shoot for once you get maybe a different engine and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we might be able to work something out by the end of this year to go down to Winchester, but that's still in the works, but it would be super cool if we could do that.
So what do you do by day? What is your your trade during the day, the week job, if you will?
Yeah, I'm in heavy equipment operating with the local 139 union, and I actually just graduated my apprenticeship. So I'll be a journey worker now as of Monday at about noon. So that's super exciting. So we're gonna have to have a party for that. So I'm super glad I went into the trades. It seemed a lot better for me as not really a type of guy that wants to go to school and stuff like that, and making pretty good money to fund this whole racing operation here. So it's
So
definitely working.
now that the apprenticeship's done, you'll have more money to spend on the race car then?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know what? There is something to be said for trade school or doing a trade like that with the apprenticeship. Then you aren't saddled with all that college debt. So I think you made a smart choice there.
Yes, absolutely. I was able to buy my own house a year ago too, down in Janesville too. So that's going good, and yeah, I'm really excited about it.
Very nice.
Was your first super race at Oktoberfest a couple years ago? Was that the first time you ran a super?
Yeah, with Johnny DeAngelis. So yeah, that was a cool race for sure. We were running for the Big Eight championship up there that year, and we practiced on Wednesday, and we're heading back home and gonna change some stuff and get ready for Saturday. And Johnny texted me on the way home and asked if I was available to drive his car for Thursday for the Futures race, and I was like, he was planning on having me start and park, and I said, well, man, if I get out there and run a couple laps, it's going to be tough for me to get out of the car. So he ended up letting me run it for the race, and it worked out good. Held off Mondyke at the end for the win. So that was a super awesome weekend for sure.
I do. Yeah, I remember that now. I always joked with Chuck that they should have changed the name of that race to the Save Your Pit Slab race, because that's basically why everybody races it, is so they can stay in the pits that night. I always threw in the idea too, like if you win the race and you like somebody else's pit slab better, you could, if you win the Futures race, you can knock them off their pit slab and take their pit slab too. But that
Yeah,
panned out.
yeah.
I
So
love
that
that, Dan.
that got us into the Futures race there. So then I got to drive Johnny's backup car for that. So that was pretty neat. We started in the back of that one and got up to like 16th or something. And then he had issue with his car. So I was only able to run about one of the segments. So that kind of sucked, but it was still a cool opportunity, and definitely got me started on the super late deal, and really liked those 10-inch tires and didn't want to go back to those 8-inch limiteds anymore after that.
Funny. So obviously you're good friends with Johnny. Who else are you friends with that have been kind of helpers, if you will, mentors, what have you?
Not a super lot of competitors, just my family, I guess. Dale's fun to hang out with. He spotted for me once when Brent couldn't make it. So he's got a lot of experience running super lates and limited lates everywhere. So he's someone that I talk to a little bit. And then, yeah, just kind of our own team. Don't really reach out to a whole lot of people. Just kind of talk to them every once in a while. But yeah.
What are some of the biggest aha moments you have had just over this last year and a half as you've been progressing with your career?
What do you mean by that?
Like, has there been one of those like, oh, holy crap, you learned something on the track that it was just like a game changer for you? Has there been anything like that for you?
Not a whole lot, really. The races we've ran with the super late, I feel like we ran a lot with the limited late. So I knew the track and how it drove and stuff like that from that. So not a whole lot of super like aha moments, I guess, but just maybe a few minor stuff with the setups and how the tires work and what kind of stuff is different between the super late and the limited late stuff. So.
And are you
Yeah.
working in particular on any certain areas of your car yourself more so than other, like the shocks, or are you more like getting involved with the setup? What types of things are you more hands-on with?
Yeah, kind of all that really. Just set up and not a whole lot with shocks, but yeah, the springs and the travels and stuff like that. Staggers the main thing. That makes a huge difference where I can feel it in the car. So getting the tires right is the biggest thing to have for the race, so you can run the whole race without losing stagger, gaining stagger, and making the car worse. So that's what we really focus on, and then yep, just pretty much tires is the main thing.
What
You
kind of
mentioned
goals? Go ahead, Dan.
are you the car you're running right now? Is that the same one you ran as a Big Eight limited type car then?
Yes, we built it in the winter of 20 to 21, and it was a '05 latch finder chassis, old Pathfinder, with updated front stub. So we built that over the winter and ran it as a big eight for a few races in 21. Got a couple track records at Slinger and Jefferson with the limited late, and then put tires on it for the Thunder race that year in July and won that one, and we've been racing it since.
What else have you had to change other than switching to 10-inch tires to make it go from the big eight to the super? Or are you pretty much running the same stuff, just 10-inch tires?
It's really just the same stuff. The shocks and springs are all the same. The drivetrain, engine, transmission, all the rear end stuff is all the same. So just a little bit of a weight moving around and tires and the spoiler, obviously. And that's really about it. Nothing special.
That's encouraging to hear.
Yes. Yeah. Like to see some more guys try some conventional setups and run with those bump stops, because I don't know, we've proven it. I think you don't really need it. You got to be on your game though. You got to be right to run fast, just like anything like bump stops. So yeah, doesn't take a whole lot of money to run with them for sure.
Well, and I do think I'll repeat this again. I think being able to run with that conventional setup is actually better for your learning trajectory, because once you get those basics down like that, that's going to be invaluable for you as you move forward into anything else.
Right, absolutely. There's a whole lot of different stuff you can change to dial yourself out, and you stick to the basics, you're not going to be super far off the pace, I think. So that's a big deal for us for running consistently for sure.
Your mom is probably, if not your number one fan, she's arm wrestling for that position, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, she's been an awesome supporter of mine. My grandma as well, Deanna. She's probably one of my number one fans for sure. She's always at the track and stuff like that. So yeah, I got a really good fan base behind me. Usually I have quite a few fans in the stands for every race we're at. So that's super fun.
Talk about the history of the number that you're running.
So
why you selected it.
Yeah, so when I started in go-karts, I was originally number 41 because my dad was 14, so flip those around, so I'd be 41. And then after running a year in go-karts, we met a guy named Jerry Sainsbury, and he had some go-karts, and we got to run for him, and his number was 97, so it's kind of stuck since then. We ran a few years of go-karts with him, and he really got me going with the whole racing deal. We had a lot of success running at Fort Atkinson and down in Illinois and up in La Crosse at all kinds of different go-kart tracks. So that was super cool. So I just kind of stuck with the number then from Legend Cars on.
And what kind of goals do you have set for yourself yet this year, and then are maybe kind of noodling around to get in place for next year?
Yeah, we'd like to go for the Slinger Points Championship. We're only a few points out right now with a few weeks left. So we have a few more solid runs. I think we can compete for that, which would be really cool. And then go down to Rockford and try to win the last Eagle they got down there at the end of the year would be ideal. And then kind of up in the air for next year, not really sure what we want to run. We might run a Tundra schedule or a Slinger again, might travel some more. So we'll kind of go over it this winter and see what we want to do next year.
And maybe land some more sponsors to help it all come together, right?
Right, absolutely. That's the goal for sure.
Now, do you have a girlfriend or no?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And did you meet her at the racetrack, or does she get racing?
Yeah, for sure. She's Megan Toma. So if you know, Jason Toma drives the six. He actually won last night at Jefferson. So yeah, I met her down in the pits in Jefferson, and we've been dating about 2 years now.
It's always good when you can meet the one you love at the track. That way they get it.
Yeah, that helps here.
For sure. Dan, do you have any other questions you want to ask?
No, well, I did see you had the cart on your Facebook page. Do you ever hop in your cart? Do you still have that, or is that just a trophy for you now?
Yeah, it's kind of in my trophy case at my house. So I like to get it running, maybe do a little hot lapping, but I don't know if I want to race it or wreck or anything. It's kind of one of those keepsake things that are pretty neat to have. So yeah, I got my old dirt go-kart at my house, and then the one I ran at Broadhead is over in the shop at my grandpa's house. So I got both them little carts still, so those are neat.
Cool.
I do have one other question yet. So when you're driving just a regular, I don't know if you drive a truck or whatever, and you're going down like the interstate or something, do you find yourself kind of getting into that competitive race mode with other drivers on the road with you?
Actually, quite the opposite. I just drive very conservatively, go the speed limit, whatever. I got pulled over a few times when I was younger, so I just kind of not going speed and not driving crazy, just kind of, save my tires on my car, save my gas. I drive quite a bit to work, so I got about an hour and a half one way. So it gets to be a long week on driving. So not getting very aggressive. So that's good.
That is good. And that probably makes it easier for you to run the heavy equipment when you have that conservative, calm mindset too.
Yeah, that's something you can get frustrated with real quick. So you got to be smooth and calm. Helps with pace, stuff like that.
So what do you operate then? What is the heavy equipment that you're operating?
I've been in all kinds of equipment the last 4 years of my apprenticeship, but right now I've been running a skid steer at the solar project up in Lamira, and I've been there for a few months. I ran telehandlers quite a bit, which is like one of those big off-road forklifts. So that's probably the main thing I ran the last 4 years, and along with other stuff like a big haul truck or a roller or a scraper, just getting a lot of experience in a whole lot of different types of equipment. So it's been good.
That's cool that you get to do that for a living. I think there's a place over by Rochester, Minnesota that actually is like an adult sandbox for people to go over and actually play around with the heavy duty equipment, and you get to do it for a living. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, there's one not far. It's like Red Wing down by the Treasure Island Casino where they have it's actual, backhoes and dump trucks and all that bulldozers, and people just pay money to go. It's like a huge sandbox for adults.
Yeah.
That's wild. I never heard of that before. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Well, heck, if after you get doing so well and raise money for yourself, maybe you could start your own business doing that to fund your race team. Have the adult sandbox over in your neck of the woods.
Right. Yeah, there's an idea. Yep.
Well, Jacob, good luck to you the rest of the season. You've been exciting to watch, and you're kind of the common man cheering section there too, or the cheering common man is cheering for you because you are doing it with that conventional setup and just slugging it out. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. It was a good time for sure.